Hi, my name's Mike. I have bought many knives in my life. I have made many bad choices and I've made some really great choices. So let's grab some knives and talk about how you can make good choices buying kitchen knives. I am a knife nerd. I maxed out my first credit card in Paris at a knife shop. I've traveled to Japan to go and watch blacksmiths making knives in person and have loved every minute of it. In this video, we're going to talk about the 5 most important things you need to think about when you're buying a knife. This is the 240 Moritaka Gyuto. This is a big chef's knife, and a big chef's knife is easy to drive. It'll cut through everything you want it to. This is a super smooth cutting knife. The size and the weight of it's perfect for pretty much everything you're ever going to cut. They can be a bigger knife to handle, but if you're only going to use one knife, this is it. Once you're comfortable using a knife this size, you can use it for absolutely everything. This is my Yuki Ko Bunka. This is the other most used knife in my kitchen. It's a lot smaller, it's incredibly convenient, and sometimes you just want to cut a cucumber in quarters and stick it in some hummus because you're hungry. And that's what this knife is fantastic for. If I'm doing a small amount of work, I use my small little knife. It's kind of like Napoleon. It's little, but it can get a lot of work done. Something that I really like about this knife is that it's got stainless steel on the outside with a carbon steel core, so it gives me a really sharp edge, but I don't need to worry too much about oxidizing or any kind of rust. This is my Nakiri. This is the Haruyuki Nakiri. This knife is super dependable, more robust, and doesn't rust. So when I'm cutting stuff that's wet, like vegetables that have a lot of acidity, onions and tomatoes, I really like using the Nakiri. Really easy to care for, and I can make it do a lot of stuff. It's really good for vegetables, that's what it's designed for, but once you get used to using a Nakiri, this rectangular shaped knife, you can use it for practically anything, but it's wicked for chopping. One thing I like with Nakiris is the ones that have a bit of a curvature to the tip. So when I'm doing this chopping motion, it's really fluid as I roll through the chopping. Sometimes you need a knife with a special purpose. Something like carving or slicing meat. Having a long, slim knife is really helpful. Just one sliding motion. You don't end up with the jagged ridges along the meat. And if you like to barbecue stuff like I do, you really want to make sure that last step is really taken care of. I like this Koishi Sujihiki. It's super light and thin, it feels nice in my hand. It's tip heavy, so it allows the knife to drop as I pull it backwards through the food. Think Thanksgiving, Christmas dinner, Sunday roast, even start buying your whole primals of meat and cutting your own steaks. Wouldn't you want to have one of these in your kitchen? The last factor in choosing a knife is whether or not it makes you happy. Sometimes choosing something that just looks good and makes you happy is part of the decision, and sometimes it's the final decision maker. This is a Kurosu Damascus steel blade. This thing is a piece of art, and it's a functioning piece of art. I love all of his knives. They work exceptionally well, and he also makes them incredibly well. These things are such a work of art. They change their look over time. It's almost like a leather jacket breaking in. The longer you own it, the more it becomes yours, and it will always be unique to you. It'll never be anyone else's knife. It's really, truly a special thing. It's a little bit more pricey, but this is the kind of knife that will last you for the rest of your life. You can have one really fancy dinner out, or you can buy a lifetime worth of cooking with just this knife. My 5 favorite knives and the things I like the most about them. This 240 Moritaka Gyuto does everything I need a knife to do when I'm getting down and doing a bunch of cooking. This Yuki Ko Bunka, 110 millimeters long, it's like Napoleon. It's my favorite knife, and it's about the most convenient knife there is. This 165 millimeter Haruyuki Nakiri is a very robust knife, and I love using it for chopping vegetables. This Koishi Sujihiki is what I use whenever I'm slicing or cutting big pieces of meat. And this 210 Gyuto from Masashi-san just inspires me. It is so beautiful. Those are my 5 tips for buying a knife, and I really hope this helps you. It doesn't need to be an overwhelming experience, and we are here to guide you through the process.